What's the most unforgivable thing a teacher ever did? The moment I saw my deepest secrets projected on the classroom wall, I felt my entire body go cold. 28 pairs of eyes shifted from the screen to me as my private journal entry about my suicide attempt filled the room. Ms. Peterson stood by the projector, pointer in hand, using my trauma as today's example of overly dramatic teenage writing. And I knew in that moment that I would either have to change schools or die because there was no coming back from this level of betrayal. It started as a creative writing assignment in 10th grade. Ms. Peterson told us to keep journals, write whatever we wanted, be honest and raw, because only I will ever read them. She promised we could mark certain entries as private if we didn't want her reading them at all. I took her at her word. My parents were divorcing, and I was staying with my grandmother. Writing became my escape. I poured everything into that journal, including pages about my darkest moment 3 months earlier when I'd swallowed a bottle of pills. Every Friday, we'd turn in our journals, and every Monday, we'd get them back with little notes. I used the private entry system, marking my most personal pages with a small star in the corner. The system worked for months, and I started to trust it. Then came parent-teacher conferences. Ms. Peterson had seemed different that week, giving me strange looks. I didn't understand until my grandmother came home in tears. Ms. Peterson had read her excerpts from my journal, including entries marked private, and suggested I needed psychiatric commitment based on my dangerous tendencies. I was mortified, but thought at least it was just my grandmother who knew. Until the next day, when Ms. Peterson dimmed the lights and said, "Today we're discussing the difference between genuine emotion and melodrama." The projector flickered on, and there was my journal entry, scanned and displayed 6 feet tall. "Notice the overwrought language," she said, highlighting sentences where I described the cold calm I felt before taking the pills. My words about the hospital stay, about having my stomach pumped, all broadcast to 27 classmates who sat in stunned silence. When she highlighted the part where I'd written about not wanting to exist anymore, I screamed for her to stop. She looked at me with this cold smile and said, "If you didn't want it analyzed, you shouldn't have written it." I grabbed my backpack and ran out. I hid in the bathroom until the guidance counselor found me. I was sure she was there to punish me, but instead, she looked horrified. 3 students had gone directly to the principal, disgusted by what had happened. The principal called my grandmother to his office the next morning. When we arrived, he apologized to me. Ms. Peterson had been placed on immediate leave. What I didn't know was that this wasn't the first time. The principal had received complaints before, but never had enough evidence to act. This time, multiple students had taken photos of the projected journal entry with their phones. Ms. Peterson was suspended the following week. The school board offered my grandmother a settlement if we signed an NDA. She refused, saying other parents deserve to know what happened to their kids' private thoughts. I transferred schools anyway. I still go to therapy twice a week, and I haven't written in a journal since.